Greetings. It is I, Crystallia. It was my turn to come forward and be the first one to speak at this time because I wish to speak of these changes that you are manifesting. I have spoken in the past about the importance of understanding what it is that you are moving into so that you can be in alignment with what that is. Now, when you look at the entire planet, when you look at all of the different places in which people live, there are some that are very simple and laid back. There are some that are very fast paced and very structured. So there is, in other words, there's a great deal of diversity on your planet. And for some of these places, it's very easy for them to be connected to the earth, connected to the animals, connected to the trees and the water. And all of those things that sustain them are very readily available to them. So that is creating somewhat of a foundation that's going on intrinsically, because chances are a lot of those might not, even care about following something like this. Now, and I'm also speaking of a lot of the natives. A lot of them still continue to have their direct alignment with the star beings, and they still speak to them on a consistent basis, and they still have interactions that go back and forth. So perhaps that's another reason why they don't need to have the same type of conscious choice to move into that. So then we have the majority of you that are here on this. You are all people that are very aware of what's going on. As we just talked about at the very beginning, in this group, you come from all around the world because you understand that everything, even though the United States is a focus of all of this, what's happening here is going to be reflected in every other country on the planet. So it is something that is going to be, and this is why, as the world becomes smaller, you could say, because of the interconnection of people, the energies actually expand higher. It's kind of an interesting way of thinking about things. I wanted to come in because when people have been living their lives, and you've been living your lives just going on about your business, you create an energy or a frequency that represents who you are as that person. So when it comes to making changes, it can be difficult. Now, you may have someone that meditates every single day for an hour or two a day, and even for them, it can be difficult making changes. So I wanted to speak to you of how can you make it easier for yourself and for other people. And one of the things that I wanted to mention is find something that is of a higher, lighter vibration, and then bring it into your life. When you think about laughter, when you think about just joy, when you think about a state of being, all of those things will raise your vibration, which will in turn open you up to new potentials. There is a force of ET beings, if you want to call them that. They're from a number of different planets, and they are the ones that are, it sounds so silly to say this, but the best way for you to understand it is to say they are creating what is like a task force. In other words, they are working directly with humanity to create this foundation for what it is to think and feel and experience in the higher vibrational energies. So let me introduce you to them. We have someone that is here from what you call Sirius A. And this individual looks very failing in its in their appearance, but they are here because they are working in alignment with tunes, with tones, with vibrations, and with frequencies. So sometimes you might actually hear tones or pitches, and you don't know what they're coming from, and you can actually recalibrate the waves that are the waves that are going through the vibration in your body. You can recalibrate what's going on in your ears. You can recalibrate your vision through tones and frequency. And so, okay. Oh, someone's saying, well, what's their name? What's their name? Sorry, I didn't think about names. I just think about them as the essence of who they are. So we're asking, it feels like it's a female essence, and she is saying, Kathy, Kathy's not the name, but that's good enough. She says that's good enough for her. She was saying the name in something that was a language that was not really understood by Shelly. So as I tried to convey it down to Shelly, it just was not coming out. But anyway, so this essence from Sirius A is working on tones and frequencies that will adjust the vibration within your physicality, and then it will also have an impact on your emotion and your mental bodies. There we have Alpha Centauri. There is Alpha Centauri A and Alpha Centauri B. And this essence is a masculine essence that is here from Alpha Centauri B. And he is here because he's working with the environment. And as he's working with the environment, this is one, he's got a number of different energies that are with him. And if you think about this, they have this essence of they'll take an area of land and they just sit as if they're looking at it, and but they're not looking at it with physical eyes. They're looking at it with their inner eyes, and what they're doing is they're connecting with the granules of dirt, the granules of sand. They're connecting with the actual presence of the earth, and by doing so, they then can connect through to Gaia. So this individual is working on healing the earth by working through Gaia. Now, I wanted to speak about these things because any one of you can do the same thing. And so he is saying that, okay, well, just let him talk. I am known as Symthesis, and I work through the synthesis of conveying information both to that which is what sustains you upon the earth and that which is what sustains you as your soul information. I am, and I use the name synthesis because of what it also represents. When I connect with a patch of land, and I'm going to give you smaller portions so that each one of you can choose to do it. But say you have a garden and you've got 4 or 5 rows of your garden and they go down, however many, 100 feet or whatever it is. And you can sit here at the end of the garden. And as you're looking at it, what you want to do is just look with your eyes, and you're looking at the furrows of the land. Now, I understand some of the land in the north is already going dormant for the winter time. Doesn't matter. Some of the land in the south is becoming fertile for the summertime. But I'm giving you a garden as an example. You can do this with any piece of land. It can be the forest. It can be a meadow. It can be the beach of an ocean. It can be anywhere. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking, and I use microsynthesis as I connect with the dirt that is in front of me. And in doing so, I begin to feel a connection to it as if I personally become a part of the dirt. Now, there are certain occasions when I have transformed and transmuted and become a part of that which I was working to transition. And it can happen to any one of you. But the reason that I do it this way, and what's important to know about this, is that as I connect with that, then I can hear, oh, this needs more of an acidic foundation. This needs fertilizer. This needs to be cleansed. I can hear from the soil what it needs. Your soil has consciousness. Many of you have never thought of that before, but your soil has consciousness. And so as I'm looking at it and connecting to it, I'm connecting to the consciousness of the soil. And what's important to know is that just as with photosynthesis and just as with these other ways in which you can work with things, as I work with this one garden, it then communicates to the others that are around it. So by creating that open communication, it then goes out in waves of energy. And sometimes there may be a big, powerful wave that goes out. Sometimes there's just a very subtle movement of energy as it goes from this piece of land to this piece of land to this piece of land. And even though it sounds like it's a very small amount, what will happen is that when you start with, just say, half an acre, it then becomes an acre, and then an acre doubled becomes 2 acres, 4 acres. And so it does not take long before you have larger amounts of land. And I'm not doing this just in one place. I have a team that is working with me, and we go all around the planet and we work with the land and the soil and the dirt and the grass and everything that needs to be nurtured and upgraded. Thank you for allowing me to share my joy with you, and I hope that each one of you will also find that communication for yourself. You can also use it as a means of contacting or communicating with Gaia. So Gaia is the soul of the planet, but Gaia is also represented by the trees and the grass and the animals and everything else. So, Ansaluia. All right, this is Crystallia again, and I have another person on my team here that wanted to come in and speak with you also. This one looks quite different from what humanity looks like, and it is a female essence. It's somewhat more androgynous, but still a female essence. And this one is coming through from Andromeda. This is not a typical Andromedan, but she uses Andromeda as her home place. And what she is doing is working with the consciousness of humanity to get rid of lies. I know that may sound strange. How can you just get rid of lies? You get rid of lies by instilling in people a way of seeing the truth. You instill in people an ability to see the auras around each person. You instill in each person an ability to be able to look at someone, and do you see them as a gross, horrible monster, or do you see them as a beautiful, radiant bird or energy, howsoever it may be. And so what she is talking about is that this is something that is then woven into your DNA. So it is a part of the activation of your DNA, and not those first 12 strands. That's already been taken care of. This comes up more in the 15th to 18th strand. Don't know, this just conveying what she says. But basically working with your DNA as a means of activating that which is like a truth knowledge within each one of you. So this will, of course, happen to all of you firsthand, and then it will trickle out. And as people become much more awakened, it will then happen to them also. So it's important that you now, when you go into your meditation, you could work with the energies and the frequency of sound. You could work with the energies of connecting to the earth. You can work with the energies of activating your DNA. What she is showing me is that like she's created this hologram in front of her, and you're familiar with the strands of your DNA that look like a ladder. Well, as you get to the part that has not yet been activated, you may see like broken pieces of a ladder. And as you consciously within your mind connect those broken pieces back into one another, what you are doing is you're building the bridge that takes you into that level of consciousness that you can see the truth in every person. This is something that just has got to take place. Okay, we'll just let her talk now. I'm not accustomed to talking with my mouth. So what I'm doing is I'm sending telepathic communication into Shelly, and she in turn is speaking the words for me. I also work very, very closely with the people on the inner earth. And that is one of the reasons why I came up and joined in this group with Crystallia, because not only have I been doing this from the inner earth and creating a foundation and an anchor for all of humanity, I've also been working with her as a means of bringing up and now taking it into the full consciousness of humanity. This is a change that is very, very powerful. There are many of you that have had the ability to look at an individual and you just know, you just have that intuitive feeling, you just have that intuitive awareness, and you just go with it. When it gets to the point where you cannot deny it, you just cannot deny it, then you have to speak your truth. You have to be in your truth. You have to acknowledge your truth. You have to recognize what is real for you, and you have to just follow that for what it is. And that's what is activating in and around this strand within the DNA. So what else comes with it is that you will have a body that is much more light filled, and there is much more fluid. Some of you may feel as if you are somewhat swollen, because it's as if you are retaining fluid. There is energy moves through fluid, especially like electricity, or an electrical conduit that is inside of you that is sending messages. So you will find that as your body is assimilating the higher, lighter frequencies, it may be that you need to drink more water. It may be that you feel a little bit swollen and you haven't integrated everything. So allow yourself an opportunity to have movement in your life. If you have movement such as stretches, bending, lifting, running, walking, any sort of movement like that is going to increase the flow and the movement through your body, which in turn will allow you to integrate the higher volume of liquid. Humanity has already been filled with a great deal of water. You know, your whole basis for your physical body is water. And this is about taking it and transforming it into a different frequency, which will then in turn be what supports and activates these higher, lighter strands of your DNA. So that is what I am doing, and I am working very consistently with many, many of you. I work with large groups of people at a time. I very rarely work one-on-one. So as I'm talking, surprise, surprise, as I'm talking, each one of you are receiving that download from me, and I am working to assist with opening up those strands of DNA. In addition, it doesn't matter if you're live or if you're listening to this, you know, down the road 10 times, 100 times, whatever it may be. Anybody that listens this opens you up to feel that flow of energy, to have that knowledge, and to be in the space where your own DNA is activating and moving further. Okay, thank you, Ansaluia. Okay, I Crystallia am back. So these, and then of course me with the crystalline energies. The four of us have a large team, and we're working with people all over the planet, and we're working with your universal being, so that's another way in which you can integrate. All of you are connected to your soul. Through your soul is where you have the ability to connect to the aspects of you that are living out in the universe. There may be one, there may be 10. It just depends on the individual. But there is consciousness throughout the entire universe. And that universal consciousness is what conveys energy and messages and movement all over the place. So I just wanted to share these thoughts and awareness with you, so that you can begin to not only is this happening all around you and going into you, now you can work from the inside and bring it in also, and then activate it and help it to move along. As this does so, you will vibrate at a higher level. You will vibrate in a different way. You will, what's the word they call it? I'm just picking this up from Shelly's mind. The stupid meter is just going to be triggered over and over again. And just as you will be able to see when people are lying, it will be almost intolerable for you to be around people that just are closed down. They just don't want to listen to anything. They just want to spout what they want to spout, and let that be it. So be aware that your tolerance will be different. Be aware that some of your friends and family that you've been so close to will go through a transition. I am not saying that suddenly you're getting divorced and suddenly you're losing your whole family. It's not like that at all. It's about moving and living in a different space where you may need a little distance from them or whatever. And then as this all takes place, then you come back again and you communicate and live with each other in a new way. So it's very exciting. This is what I've been preparing for. I actually have a team of hundreds of people, but these four were the four that were important for, including me. We four are the ones that were important for where you are right now in this ascension process and preparing you for the next phase and the next step. Some of you have already done this. Some of you are like, oh yeah, I got that. Oh yeah, I've already do that. And that's great, but the majority have not. And so this is about activating and opening up on a whole new level. And I'm very thrilled about it.